Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Angel from Simply Angel Tia, and in this video I'm going to show you guys how to crochet this beautiful skirt here. And as you can see, we did the majority of the skirt in a solid design here so that you have a nice coverage, and then we finished it off with a little bit of a lacy and gappy design. The colors here goes well, really well, so hopefully you have colors that you like and that will go together with each other, or you can just do this in a solid color. I did the two of this a little bit different in color here. So this is a self-changing yarn here, so I did the same, but it's a little bit shorter, as you can see, than the other one. And this is just a preference, so I just kind of completed this not long ago. I also started this by doing a band of the skirt here and half double crochet, and as you can see here, I did the band of this skirt here in single crochet, so you can clearly tell the difference in the stretchiness here, as well as the design and how it looks. Okay, all right, I'm gonna be showing you guys how to work with this one here, so don't worry so much about the other one, but it's just to show you guys that you can do it with different stitches. So this is pretty much it here. So let's go ahead and get everything we need for this project together, and then let's go ahead and get started. Okay, my lovelies, so before we get started, I'm going to show you all the materials that I'm using for this project. And as you can see here, I have my two colored yarns. This is a leftover from a project that I completed previously. If you guys remember, I did a dress that has this combination of colors plus two more colors, or one more color, I think a white one. So this is leftover from that. And just to talk a little bit about the yarn, this is Cozy Wool Merino by Loops and Threads. This yarn is a lightweight number 3, and recommended hook size is a 4mm crochet hook, or US G6. It's made out of 55% superwash merino and 45% anti-peeling acrylic. And this color here is called Spice, and this is another color that I'm using. The information on it is exactly as this. As you can see here, the measurements, 410 yards, or 150 grams, or 375 meters. And this is exact same I guess brand of yarn as this, and I believe this one is called Spice, if I'm not wrong. But yeah, these are the two colors that I'm going to be using. Okay, in terms of crochet hook size, I'm going to be using a 4.25mm crochet hook. And as you can see here, recommended is 4.5, but I'll be using a 4.25, which is just 0.5 less than what is recommended. Of course, it's good to have a darning needle around, a scissors, and as well as a tape measure to be able to get the size of the pencil skirt that you're looking for. Okay, all right, so this is everything we need. If you do have everything on your work table as well, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started on this project. So the first thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to create a band of our skirt, which is the part that goes on top of it, on top of the skirt. We're going to be creating that part by doing a foundation chain of 13. But to do the foundation chain, we're going to start by doing a slip knot, just like I'm doing here. Okay, so that's a slip knot there. And then we're going to do a chain of 13. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Okay, so that's our chain of 13 here. Now that we have that, we're going to be working in the back of this chain and do single crochet stitches. So we're going to skip the first stitch right here, and in the second one we're going to go in the back of that stitch, and we're going to do our single crochet stitch. So we're just going to go right into it like that and do a single crochet like that. Okay, then we're going to move on to the next stitch, and we're going to go in the back of that, and we're going to do a single crochet stitch as well. And of course, we're going to do this all the way to the end. And by the time we get to the end of this row, which is our first row, we're going to end up with 12 stitches altogether. Okay, so finish this row and then come back so I can show you how to move on to the next. Okay, so I've reached the end of the first row here, as you can see, and that's how the first row should look like. Then we're going to go on to our second row by chaining 1 and turning. Okay, and then we're going to pick up the back of the first stitch right after the chain one and do a single crochet stitch, and then pick up the back of the second stitch and do a single crochet stitch. And again, we're going to continue doing this all the way, and at this point on, you're going to be working with 12 stitches to create the band of our skirt. And of course, you're going to continue to do this until you get to the end. What I do as a preference is for the final stitch, I go through both loops as opposed to the back loop only. And I find that it creates a nice and cleaner edge. It's up to you if you're not used to doing it like this and you just prefer it by going through the back loop for the final stitch as well. That's not a problem. Please go ahead and do that. It's not going to make a difference in the project. Okay, so as you can see here, I'm approaching the end of the row. And I have one more to go. So like I said, I'm going to go through both stitches as opposed to just the back loop only, and do my final single crochet there. Okay, so that's the end of row 2. For row 3, we chain 1, we turn, and we just repeat this again. And for the measurements of this part, you're going to measure the widest part of your hips, and you're going to make a band that is going to be that size when you stretch these, completely have it stretched out. So what I mean by the stretched out is when you have created this band, which will be this long piece like this. When you stretch it fully, you should get the length of the size of your hips, the circumference of the widest part of your hips. So for example, if your circumference of your hips is 35 inches, then make sure you create a piece that when you stretch it out fully, it comes up to 35 inches, fully stretched out. And if it is the 40, do the same, okay? So I'm going to do mine to be about 38. It depends, sometimes it's 38 or around 40. So what I usually do is I do about 38 inches wide for the widest part of my hips. And then I'm going to stretch my piece to be able to get to that size. And when I have that, then that's where I stop. And we're going to start working down the skirt. So this is the circumference of our waist, what we're working on now. The rest of the project will be working down the skirt until you get the length that you're looking for. In this case, it's flexible. You can do a mini skirt with this pattern. You can do like a mid-size skirt, or you could do a long skirt. It's all up to you. So I'm gonna let you guys work on this part. It's gonna take a lot of rows. I know it's not too many rows. No, it's not too, the rows are not too long, so it's not gonna take you too long to do each row. But because you're doing too many or so many, it will take a couple of minutes, maybe an hour or so for some people. So I'm gonna go ahead and create the band of my skirt here until I have what I need, and then I'm gonna come back and show you guys what I have, and then we will move on to the next step together. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and created the waistband for my skirt here. So as you can see, when folded, this is the length of it, but when unfolded, it's quite long. I ended up doing 114 rows, which came up to about 38 inches stretched out. So this really stretches. So if you just kind of show you guys this here, it stretches quite a lot. So the 114 inches is when I really stretch it out. It comes up to, sorry, not 114 inches, it's 38 inches, but it's 114 rows that I completed. So this is what I have here, and this is what you should have as well. Yours may be smaller or larger depending on your size or the size of the skirt that you're making. But for mine, it is about 38 inches for the band, for the waistband, okay? All right, so I have a string that I left behind previously for joining this section here. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring in my darning needle. I'll also kind of zoom in to make sure we can see. And I will just put my string in the darning needle hole here. And then we will join the two sides together. So I will fold my work in like this so I can join this section here. And I've also left the string hanging here to be able to join the work, or to be able to continue working on the project. And what I do to join it is I just literally pick the first stitch on this side, and I pick the first stitch on the other side, and I pull, and I repeat that in that section, usually once or twice, just to make sure that section is well tightened. And then I'm gonna go into the second stitch here and go through both loops as well to make sure I also secure that section fully. Oops, let me make sure I'm on camera here. And when I have that, then I'm going to be picking the loop closest to me here, and the loop further closest to on the inside on the other side, and I'm gonna join it. Then I'm gonna pick up on the next stitch, pick up the loop closest to me, and then closest to me on the other side as well. And then I'm gonna continue to do this until I fully join this section here. So go ahead and do the same and meet me back when we get to the end. Okay, so I have reached the end here. So for this final stitch here, I'm going to go through both loops to be able to secure the end here. And I'm gonna pull, and I will do that one more time just to reinforce that end here so it doesn't get loose. And I'm gonna pull again. So that is how the joining here looks like. Okay, so pretty good for joining it. And I have this string still long here, so I'll remove my darning needle and leave it here, because sometimes what I do after I work on it, I may go back that way just to reinforce this section even more. But for now, we're going to move on working on the skirt this way, or if you put it this way, it would be coming down like this. But since we're working on it right now, we're gonna be going around like this. And so from this part here, I'm gonna show you a couple of rows, but it's gonna be repeated until you get a certain length, because I'm going to do a little bit of a meshy design in the bottom of my skirt. I'm gonna have you guys work the solid part first, and when that's done, we will come back and I will show you guys how to do the mesh part, okay? But for now, I'm going to chain one, and I'm going to turn my work and work on the inside like this. And right here, I'm going to go in and do a half double crochet in the next stitch on the other side, so just like this. Okay, and then I'm gonna go into the next stitch here and do a half double crochet, and then move on to a stitch here on top and do a half double crochet, and then a stitch here in the valley and do a half double crochet. And again, we repeat this all around until we come back to this part where we just started here. So we're gonna come around the circle until we come back here. And you're just doing half double crochets, and one goes in this dented area and one goes on top. So like, for example, right now it will go on top of this protruding area, and then it will go on the dented area. I call them valleys and hills. So it goes on top of the hill here, and then the next goes in the valley. And so go ahead and do your half double crochets all around until you get back here. When you get to this section here, come back and I'll show you how to start the second row, and then I'll explain how I'm going to be changing the color, because I will not be coming back to show you guys how to change color. It's something that is very easy, unless you're an extreme beginner. Then I will ask you guys to see my other videos or to kind of learn how to change color. But I will not be showing you guys how to change color. I will just let you guys do that. If you're doing one solid color, you work on one solid color. If you're changing colors multiple times, then you will just change your color however you want it. But for now, work around until you get back here, and then come back and I'll show you how to start the second row, which is going to be the repeat row. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, so I have gone ahead and completed the half double crochet stitches all the way to the end here where we started off. And as you can see, that's pretty much how it looks like. So I'm gonna join here. So I'm gonna join this side to this side, and then we're gonna work on our second row on this side. So I'm just gonna go ahead and slip stitch on top of the previous, on top of the first stitch of the previous row, just like that. Okay. And then I'm going to chain one and turn Then we're going to be working on the outside of the skirt again, and we're just going to continue to do our half double crochet stitches all around until we come to this section here again. And when we get to this section, we're going to slip stitch on top here, chain one, turn, and then continue to do this. So this is the repeat row here until you get about the length that you're looking for. I'm going to do mine to go just right above my knees, and then I'm going to add a mesh part of it in the bottom, which is going to be a couple of rows as well. So then that mesh part is gonna go and cover my knees. Okay, so in terms of changing color, I'm going to do maybe about that much, like about 2 inches again of this color here in this color. And then I'm going to change and do the other color. So I have the light color that I showed you at the beginning of the video. I'm going to do another 2 inches of that. So my alternation of the colors are going to be 2 inches, I change color, 2 inches, I change color, 2 inches, I change color. Okay, so if you're doing a solid color, you just continue to create the length that you're looking for. If you're doing a changing of colors, you don't have to do every 2 inches change color. You could do even one row you change color, one row you change color, so that it's really stripy. But I'm doing mine is kind of smaller blocks, so that yeah, I like those colors like that. So I'll let you guys work on this until you have the length that you're looking for. And when you have gotten that and you want to do the mesh part of the skirt as you saw in the pictures here, then come back and I'll show you guys how to create that, and then we will go ahead and move on. But for now, we have a long way to go to create the length of the skirt here. So I will see you guys when you have completed that. Okay, see you guys then. Okay, my lovelies, so as you can see here, I've gone ahead and done a couple of blocks here with the different colors. So this is the length of the skirt right now. So I stopped here so we can go ahead and start to do the lacy bottom part of it. So I'm just going to quickly show you guys what the measurement is here. And of course, this is going to be your choice on how long you want it to go before you start the lacy part. But in terms of this one that I've done, it's about 15 inches down from the band, which is right here, the band of the skirt, to the bottom where I stopped is about 15 inches. So this is where I'm gonna stop. So I will go ahead and show you guys how to do the lacy part. And of course, with the lace, it's gonna go as long as you want it. You can either just do a couple of rows of that, or you can do more. I'm going to do as many as I can do until I guess I have this yarn. I have a little bit of each color left. So I'll probably just to finish it off, I'm gonna do as until I finish the 2 colors, and I'm going to continue to alternate the colors like this. So for the alternating, I did 8 rows of these colors. So I started off with where we stopped here, where I showed you guys. This is 8 rows here in this color, and then I changed into the lighter color and I did 8 rows and then 8 rows, and then I continue to do that same so that they all look similar like that. If you did just one color, then of course that's good as well. Then you just, however many rows you need or however many inches you needed to be able to start the lacy part. Mostly it's just to cover you as much as possible in the back before you start the lacy part, because you can wear this just to go out and things like that, and you want the solid part to be able to be enough to cover you, especially in the back first. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna show you guys how to change these up here. So I'm gonna zoom so you guys can see. So I'm gonna go ahead and change the color and put the other color here. So the first thing we're gonna do is just undo this final part here, because you guys can see. Then I'm gonna go into the other side to do my joining on the 2 sides, and then I'm gonna bring my color, and this is pretty much how I join 2 colors every time. And I just bring it in like that, and I do chain 1, and then I pull on both of these strings to kind of lock it in, and you can always just kind of knot it to lock it in completely. Now that I have this, I'm going to I'm going to turn my work at this time, because you're gonna start to work on the other side. I have already done a chain 1 to lock this section in, but I'm going to do 3 more. So 2, 3, 4, 2, so 3 more like that. So I have a chain of 4, and then I'm going to skip this here, and in the next one I'm going to do a double crochet, Okay, so this is where we're starting our lacy part. And then I'm going to chain one, and then I'm going to skip this, and in the next section I'm going to do a double crochet, chain one, skip this, in the next do a double crochet and chain one, skip this, in the next do a double crochet, and you're just going to continue this all around. And then when you get back to this beginning right here, come back to the video, and I'm going to show you how to connect to here and how to start the next row. And we're going to do a couple of rows in this color in my case, and then I'm going to change back to this color, and I'm going to alternate like that. Okay, but for now, just do your lacing down here, where you pretty much do chain one, skip a stitch, and the next stitch from that do a double crochet, chain one, skip a stitch, do a double crochet. Okay, when you come back to the beginning, then I'll show you how to start the next row. See you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone around here, as you can see, and I've done my double crochet with the alternation of a chain in between and skipping a stitch to create this lacy part. And as you can see, I have 2 stitches to go. So what I will do here, just because we're skipping a stitch every stitch, I'm gonna go right into this one. So I'm gonna skip this stitch here, and I'm gonna go here. And as you can see here, I've already done my my chain one. So I'm just gonna go right into here and do my double crochet. Okay, so just like that, okay. And then now I have to go connect it to this side so I can continue the another row. So I'm going to do my normal chain one, and then I have the 4 chains that I did here. In the second one from the top, or the third one from the bottom, however you see it, you're going to do your slip stitch right on top of that, like that. Okay, so this is it counts as a double crochet here, and then all the double crochets. Then I'm going to do my chain of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And you could do, if you find that this is too tight like this, you could always do a chain of 5. But I do a chain of 4, and then you're gonna flip your work, and then you're going to go into the next stitch right here on top of the chain, on top of the double crochet from the previous row. You're going to go on top of that and do a double crochet, just like that. Chain 1, do a double crochet on top of the previous double crochet, chain 1, do a double crochet on top of the previous double crochet. And again, you continue to do this until you come back around. And then when you get back to the beginning here, or the beginning of the row right here, you're going to do your final double crochet on top of this double crochet right here. Then you're going to chain 1 and then count 1, 2, and in the second from the top, you're going to do a slip stitch, chain 4, turn your work, and continue. Okay, so just to show you guys how, kind of like a preview, I guess, of how this chaining, or how this lacy part looks like. So far it would look something like this. Okay, and then of course, as we continue to build up our work, we're gonna have the lacy part all the way down here. But for now, this is how it looks like. So I'm going to continue to do this. I'm not sure how many rows I will do. I will try for 4 rows because I have 8 rows here, but this is a smaller stitch. It's a half double crochet stitch. I may end up doing 4 of these, so I have the consistent look of these blocks here. So I may do 4 or 5, change the color back to this, and then do 4 or 5 more, and then change the color back to this. And I'm gonna do that until I run out of either one of these yarns first. And when I do that, then I will stop and come back, and I will show you guys how long I did my lacy part, and also how it looks at the end. Okay, all right, see you guys then. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed this section of our skirt here. So as you can see, I did 3 blocks in the lacy design here. I pretty much just ran out of this color of yarn here, so I stopped. So this is all I had left by the end of it. So I decided, obviously, this is the best place to stop. So I'm gonna stop here, and this is pretty much the end of the project. So I'm going to finish this section off here, so nothing too complicated. We're just literally going to cut the yarn off. So we're going to just snip it off here, and then we're going to just put our hook through like this and just pull this up. And then this is going to be where we weave in this little tail here. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. So what I will do is I will just weave everything in. So not everything, there's just this one here. And then if you flip the skirt to the inside, there's all of these strings where we change the color. So I'm gonna flip my skirt inside out so I can weave in all the strings there, including where we started off the project right here. And then when I have everything weaved in, I'm gonna come back to show you guys how the whole thing looks like fully completed. Okay, so you should have something like this. If you wanted to continue this and make it longer, obviously you can. I will probably make another tutorial where I do one that has full coverage, half of the skirt, or like just to cover your body, your privates, and then I'll do the lacy design for the remaining of it. So that will be another tutorial, but for now this is the length. It just goes right, just covers your knees a little bit depending on how you wear it. If you pull it up really high on your waist, it will be a little bit shorter. If you pull it a little bit down, it's gonna go a little bit past your knees or just covering your knees. Okay, all right, so let me go ahead and weave in all the strings that we have hanging around here, and then I'll come back to show you guys the completed project. See you guys in a bit. Okay, so I've gone ahead and weaved in all the ends here, so it's pretty much ready to be worn. And I really liked and I enjoyed working on this a lot. And I don't know about you guys, but this combination of colors here, I find it really nice. And like I said, I've already made a dress that has this combination of colors plus, I believe, a white color, which came out really well. And then the leftover yarn I had is what I used to make this skirt here. So I really like this. So hopefully you guys enjoyed making this with me. And thank you again for watching the video to the end. If you have watched it to the end, obviously, if you're here and watching, you've watched it to the end. But thank you again for staying throughout the length of the video. And if you have not yet subscribed, please go ahead and do so. And don't forget to like the video if you like it. And if you have any questions, please ask in the comment section below. Okay, see you guys in the next one. Bye.